Read the passage, The Legend of the Rice, and the poem, The Song of Rice. Stop and answer each question using the text evidence. The Legend of the Rice. A.J. Dutch sat at the kitchen table trying to concentrate on his math homework. But the pot of basmati rice simmering on the stove was making it difficult. The delicious fragrance was distracting him and making him hungry. Tonight, AJ's mother was cooking vegetable biryani for dinner. She often repeated the saying, grains of rice should be like two brothers, close but not stuck together. His mother had moved to Washington from India before she had married his father. AJ always enjoyed hearing the wise old sayings and eating the foods of his mother's native land. Number 1. What is the meaning of the saying about grains of rice? Now his mother cut potatoes, carrots, green beans, and cauliflower into small thin pieces for frying. She put oil into a pan and added mustard seeds, chili, cinnamon, and other seasonings. More mouth-watering smells, yelled the room as she asked, AJ, have I ever told you the Indian legend of the rice? AJ gladly set aside his homework and prepared to listen to another of his mother's fascinating tales. His mother continued to prepare the meal as she began retelling the ancient legend. Long, long ago, when the earth was still young, life was better in every way. Women and men and children were stronger and more beautiful. Trees were taller and greener, and the fruit they bore was sweet beyond belief. Even the rice was larger. In fact, it was so large that all a person needed for an entire meal was one single grain of rice. AJ thought about how odd it would be to eat just one grain of rice for a meal. He tried to imagine a single grain of rice large enough to fill up his whole plate. He wondered how long it would take to cook a grain of rice that size. But he didn't want to interrupt the story to ask his mother's opinion. Mrs. Dutt put some of her homemade yogurt in a blender and flipped the switch. After that, she heated the yogurt in a pan and added the fried vegetables. In those days, the people did not even have to gather the rice, she continued. When it was ripe, it simply fell from the stalks and rolled directly into the village storehouses. AJ got up to set the table while his mother added the cooked rice to the vegetables and continued telling the story. One year, there was so much rice growing in the fields that a widow said to her daughter, "Our storehouse is too small to hold all that rice. We must build a larger one." They demolished the old storehouse and started to build a new one, but the rice began rolling into the village before the new storehouse was ready. The widow became angry and struck one of the grains of rice, which you remember were much larger than grains of rice today. "Couldn't you have waited a few more days? We are not ready for you yet," the widow shouted angrily at the rice. AJ's mother put the biryani into an attractive ceramic dish and garnished it with dried fruits and green coriander leaves. She carried it to the table, called to AJ's dad that dinner was ready, and the family sat down to dinner. As he took the first bite of the delicious food, AJ asked, What happened after that? He was eager to hear the outcome. That large grain of rice broke into 1,000 pieces. His mother answered. The rice announced, "From now on, we will wait until you decide you're ready to come and get us." And from that day forth, Agismund concluded, rice has been a small grain and people must toil to harvest it. Number 2. Describe how episodes from two different plots and two different settings are woven together in the passage. That is an excellent legend, AJ said. But I wish that widow hadn't been so bad-tempered. I would like to see how you would cook one of those giant grains of rice. The Song of Rice. Each one of us alone is tiny, insignificant, but together with our sisters, brothers, and cousins, we are powerful. We are a magnificent multitude. We are known by many names and many languages and places. We appear in many forms and many guises. We are in Italy's risotto with broth and cheese. In Greece and Turkey's dolma wrapped in grape leaves. In India's biryani with spice and mustard seeds. We are in Spain's paella with saffron, peppers, and peas. We are in Japan's sushi wrapped snugly in seaweed. Number 3. How does the third stanza develop the theme of the poem? We are puffed and crisped into cereals, dried and ground into flour, used to make puddings and candy, our straw for paper, hats, and mats. Each one of us alone is tiny, insignificant, but together with our sisters, brothers, and cousins, we are powerful. We are a magnificent multitude. Number 4. How are the topics and themes of the passage and the poem similar to each other? How are they different?